Welcome to the latest edition of ABBA magazine. With 11 consecutive wins, Budućnost maintains a firm grip on the top spot of the standings. After an upset in Zadar, j.t.d is now leveled with Crvena Zvezda. The battle to avoid relegation is still wide open. We present one of the youngsters in the spotlight this season, Petar Rakičević. And as usual, we wrap things up with the top 5 plays of the round. After the fourth consecutive defeat and a freefall to number 10 spot in the rankings, Krka decided to part ways with the head coach Ivan Velić. The team from Novo Mesto has 8 wins so far, one above the teams in the relegation zone. Velic's assistant Vladimir Anzulović will take over as head coach. Anzulović, whose assistant will be designated in the days to follow, already led the team from Novo Mesto as a head coach, with Velić absent against Megalex attending to a family emergency. In front of 3,500 fans in attendance, Budućnost took care of business against Olimpija 89-77, extending the winning streak to 11. The league leader was comfortable on offense from the get-go and grabbed a 12-point lead after 8 minutes. At the start of the second period, Budućnost was up by 13, but Olimpija would storm back through Mesicek and Lešić, who started off a 13-2 run for the visiting team. However, the home team wouldn't let up and kept a 5-point lead at the halftime. Gašper Potočnik's men came out of the locker rooms with more energy and flair. A spectacular 3-point jumper from right started off a series that ended with Olimpija up by 4. But you can't count Budućnost out with Tadija Dragičević around. The home team went on a tear on offense, scoring 19 points in only 5 minutes, while allowing just 5 in return, closing the game out with a routine performance in the fourth quarter. Tadija Dragičević was the game's MVP with 23 points and 9 rebounds, drawing 11 personal fouls while misfiring on only 1 free throw. He did receive some help from his teammates as Alex Marić added 14 points, Subotić added 12 with 8 rebounds, and Nemanja Jaramaz scored a point less. Sava Lešić recorded another double-double in the losing effort with 18 points and 10 rebounds. With this defeat, Olimpija finds itself in the relegation zone, sharing the last place with Sutjeska and Tajfun. A rivalry game was played in Croatia, where Zadar upset the visiting j.t.d 81-72, sending the Zagreb's EuroLeague team deeper into turmoil. Coach Ante Nazor once again proved he had the right recipe for j.t.d with a 9th career win and a second one this season against the defending champion of Croatia. Taking advantage of the fact that the home team couldn't count on Luka Žorić, Nazor created a coveted domination in the paint, using 2 centers Marinković and Kraljević in the starting lineup. Zadar held j.t.d to a 30% from the field in the first period, with Miro Bilan scoring 8 out of their 12 points. The home team was pretty much without a bucket outside of the paint until Delaš sinked a 3 from 8 meters away as the time expired to give Zadar a 6-point lead at the end of the first period. Veljko Mršić's team played with more energy in the second period and with hustle on the defensive end turned the tide. Zadar was held scoreless for almost 4 minutes. They would go on to score only 11 points in the second period. While on the other side, Pullen and Walker were raining threes for a 36-29 j.t.d lead at the end of the first half. However, Zadar proved once again that the teamwork is always above individual quality. Taking advantage of the visitors' fatigue and a number of missed jumpers, the home team scored in transition to take the lead back. Guns were blazing in the third period as shots from Gordic, Pulin and Pilipic were answered by the threes from Kozi and Barac. With a bucket from Kraljevic at the buzzer, Zadar took the lead by 1 at the end of the third period. Jacob Pullen kept j.t.d in the game but missed both free throws in a crucial moment. Walker followed up with 1 out of 2, opening a window for Delash, who drained a mad 3 off the glass from 9 meters away to give his team a huge 9-point advantage. Pullen redeemed himself with a 3 and a foul, but he missed a free throw. j.t.d fought hard to the very end, but Zadar held on to the lead with points from the foul line. Teamwork marked this very important 9th triumph for Zadar, with 20 team assists, 13 rebounds, more than the rivals to make up for j.t.d's 11 3-pointers out of 22 attempts. Filip Kraljevic made the best of his teammates' assists and scored 30 points in career best performance, while Kozi and Barac scored 13 each. Jacob Pullen did all he could with 23 points. Miro Bilan added 15 with 10 rebounds, 7 on offense, but that wasn't enough to prevent j.t.d's second consecutive and 5th loss of the season, which could cost them the home court advantage in the playoffs. With a routine victory over Metalac, Crvena Zvezda is definitely back in the fight for the second place in the standings. Thanks to an excellent 3-point percentage, 11 out of 21, the red and white team won 86-74. It was those shots from the distance that helped the home team take off on offense, and they raced to a double-digit lead after only 4 minutes of play. Metalac really struggled at the beginning of the game. Turnovers combined with missed jumpers led to a 15-point deficit at the end of the first quarter. Vladimir Đokic's man scored only 11 points during the first period, allowing Dan Radonjic to rest the starters for a while. The home team's inspired offense led to an 18-point lead at the beginning of the second quarter. On the other side, Bakic scored the first 3-pointer for the visiting team in the final moments of the first half. Metalac managed to reduce the deficit to a 41-28. Not much changed until the end of the game, except that the home team took more shots from the free throw line. The defending champions reached their game-high 21-point lead at the end of the third quarter. Led by Majstorovic, who was aided by Rakicevic, in a very dramatic finish, the team from Valjevo managed to reduce the deficit to only 7 points. But even then, they weren't a real threat for the Belgrade outfit. There wasn't a single player who didn't score in this match, but the most valuable player was Nemanja Dangubic with 17 points. Guduric and Miller scored 10 each, and Terence Kinsey finished the game with 9 points and 7 assists. The defeated team will fight relegation until the end of the season, hoping for more from Đorđe Majstorovic, who scored 23 points, and Petar Rakicevic, who finished the game with 13 points and 8 rebounds. One of the young guns in the spotlight this season of ABA League is Metalac guard Petar Rakicevic. This 20-year-old leads the team in assists and has the team best 43% from the 3-point range in his sophomore season in the regional championship. What was his basketball journey like before the arrival to Valjevo and the ABA League?
Prvo sam zavolao košarku još od mlađih dana, krenuo sam da treniram sa 8 godina u svom rodnom gradu Prokuplju, tu sam prošao sve one mlađe kategorije od pionira. Kadetsku ligu sam počeo da igram u Vršcu, u Hemofarmu, dok je još postojao Hemofarm. Tu sam zaista dosta napredovao, kasnije sam prešao u Čačansku mladost, gdje sam igrao juniorsku ligu i prvu B ligu. Kasnije sam došao u Metalac na insistiranje Vlade Đokića, što mi je vrlo bila odlična opcija, tako da sa zadovoljstvom sam to prihvatio i došao da igram u Metalac.
Did he look up to anyone while growing up?
Sigurno mi je idol bio, pratio sam dosta NBA kao klinac i uzor mi je bio Kobe Bryant, a što se tiče naših, volao sam da gledam Dejana Bodirogu kako igra.
In this pretty turbulent season, Metalac was struggling with depth and quality at the point guard position. As the championship progressed, coach Vladimir Đokić gave the role to Petar Rakicevic, who had little to no experience at this position. How much did the advice from the coach, who used to be a point guard himself, help him find his way in the new role?
Ove sezone smo bili u problemu sa playmakerima. On je došao na ideju da meni da tu šansu, što je moje veliko poštovanje. To je za mene bilo jedno stvarno veliko iskustvo i prijalo mi je da igram na toj poziciji, da što više napredujem. Sigurno njegovi savjeti i moj trener veliku karijeru i sigurno njegovi savjeti mnogo znače i probat ću da ih što bolje pokažem na terenu, što bolje znam.
Metalac is currently 11th in the standings with 8 wins and is facing relegation. What does Rikishi think of the team's chances for the remainder of the season?
Bilo je stvarno dosta i problema i promjena i kadrovskih i problema na playmakeru i u rotaciji igrača, bilo je dosta i povreda i bolesti, ali smo, da kažem, uspjeli da izvučemo neki maksimum i da ostvarimo neke bitne pobjede. Što se tiče nastavka lige, stvarno se trudimo da što bolje igramo, da ne gledamo druge rezultate, nego da sami što bolje igramo i da sami se nametnemo i da pokušamo da opstanemo u ABA ligi. A mislim da imamo šanse.
What are his plans for the remainder of his career?
Sigurno Euroliga jednog dana,
ako bude zdravlje i sreće. It took 20 rounds, but Partizan finally grabbed an away win in ABA League. Alexander Džikić led the black and white team to this important victory at the place of his crowning achievement as a coach. Partizan defeated Krka in Novo Mesto 75-70 in a sort of a payback for the way they were beaten in the previous meeting in Pionir. From the very beginning, the black and white team controlled the game flow. Their excellent defense allowed the opponent only 3 points during the opening 7 minutes. Except for a minor bump at the end of the first quarter, it was an easy ride for the visiting team in the first half. Cvetković led his team to a double-digit lead, but Krka managed to compensate for their poor field goal percentage with 4 3-pointers. The team from Belgrade suffered from lack of consistency throughout the season, as we were reminded at the beginning of the third period. In only 2.5 minutes, Partizan managed to lose a 9-point lead. The home team scored 28 points in the third quarter, 1 point more than in the whole of first half. They took the lead 63-57 at the beginning of the final period, and after Ritlops and Lapornik's 3-pointers, all seemed lost for Partizan. However, the guests from Belgrade managed to even the score with some easy points off turnovers. In a dramatic finish, Kastrati leveled the score for the home team, but Vitkovac answered with the team's second 3-pointer of the game and gave Partizan the lead at a crucial time. Krka couldn't score a 3-pointer on the next play, and the guests grabbed the win from the free throw line. Alexander Cvetković, Partizan's point guard, played an inspired game with 21 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists and 7 steals. Jones backed him up with 19, Wilson added 14 and Vitkovac 12 points. Erion Kastrati scored 15 points for the home team that finds itself in a battle to avoid relegation after 4 consecutive defeats. Megalex crushed Typhoon 92-70 in Sremska Mitrovica. Dejan Milojevic had Alfa Kaba and Danilo Nikolic back after missing the Igokea game due to a viral infection. After a long absence due to injury, the captain Rade Zagorac was also back with the youngest team in ABA League. Mega's aggressive defense resulted in easy buckets on offense, and by the end of the first period, they had a double-digit lead. With Ponjevic and Držić coming off the bench, the guests' performance improved, but the home team went on the halftime break with a 7-point lead, thanks to Savovic. Mega didn't lose their rhythm in the second half, but Cebular seemed to wake up and put his team back in the game. However, the home team responded with 16 points to Typhoon's 1 and began the final period with an 18-point advantage. Dejan Milojevic's men remained in the lead until the end of the game, and with their 13th win of the season, they secured the 4th place in the standings. Typhoon suffered their 6th defeat in a row and 13th of the season. They are currently sharing the last place with Sutjeska and Olimpija. The most valuable player of the game was Boris Savovic, who is set to leave for Italy. He said goodbye with a 20-point performance, followed by Jaramas with 17. Cebular led the scorers for Typhoon with 16. Besides the names of numerous coaching experts from former Yugoslavia that came through ABA League, one more definitely stands out. It's that of an American, David Blatt. current Cleveland Cavaliers coach, was a part of ABA League season 2011-2012 with Maccabi Tel Aviv. That was the second ABA League season for the Pride of Israel. The first time they competed was in 2003, when they were shockingly defeated in the championship game by Zadar. 9 years later, David Blatt didn't allow any surprises. Maccabi dominated the regular season with 24 wins and only 2 losses. In the only Final Four played outside of former Yugoslavia, Maccabi won a championship ring in their Nokia Arena in Tel Aviv. Budućnost was defeated in the semi-final by 22 and Cedevita in the final by 10. Maccabi and Blatt would add another trophy the same season. The Princeton University alumni started his coaching career in Israel, where he played for a full decade. He arrived at Maccabi in 1999 as Pini Gershon's assistant, and together they won a EuroLeague trophy in 2004. After that, he was named the head coach of the Israel's national team, but didn't hold the position for very long. This was also the year he started his coaching career with Dinamo St. Petersburg, the team he won the Euro Challenge Cup with. After spells at Benetton Efes and Dinamo Moscow, he returned to Maccabi in 2010 as the head coach. Besides domestic trophies, in 2014 he led the club to their 6th European champion title at the Final Four in Milano, where they upset the heavily favored Real Madrid after overtime. Blatt wasn't only successful at club level, he also had fantastic results with the Russian national team. He made a huge surprise at Eurobasket 2007 by beating host Spain in the final. 4 years later, he won the bronze medal in Lithuania, and his work with Russia was crowned at the Olympic Games in London in 2012, where they took the bronze medal. After winning EuroLeague with Maccabi, David Blatt went to NBA, and in his first season with LeBron James on the court, recorded 53 wins, winning Eastern Conference title, only to be defeated by Golden State in the finals. Bona defeated MZT 68-62 after a comeback in Dražen Petrović Hall. MZT was by far the better team in the first half, and Marko Lukovic shined on the court in Zagreb. The visiting team led throughout the first half, reaching a game-high lead of 10, with Lukovic's end one for the score 37-27 at the end of the second quarter. But at the beginning of the second half, Bona improved on defense, allowing the team from Skopje to score only 12 points in the third quarter. At that point, only Damjan Stojanovski and Đorđe Drenovac could score for MZT, while James Florence and Ante Žižić helped the home team reach a draw at 58-58 entering the final period. Bona's defense worked like a charm in the fourth quarter as well. In the crucial moment of the game, Jasmin Hukic scored a 3-pointer, followed with another jumper for 2. And all that was left for Bona was to convert from the free throw line in the dying minutes to secure their 9th victory of the season. Florence was the top scorer with 18 points, while Žižić added 11 points and 11 rebounds. For the defeated team that now stands at 8-12 for the season, Drenovac and Stojanovski led the scorers with 14 points each. Igokea grabbed an important win in Nikšić over a rival in the battle to avoid relegation. A run of impressive performances came to an end for Sutjeska with a lackluster performance in front of the home crowd, especially in the first period. Komatina gave Igokea a 6-2 lead. Vranješ responded with a 3-pointer, only to watch Radivojević and Šibalić score from the 3-point range. Igokea's run of 8 unanswered points was completed by Katnić. Visiting team won the first period 29-15, mostly due to Katnić, who was held scoreless in the previous 3 games but managed to score 9 points in the first 10 minutes of this one. At the beginning of the second period, Rush sparked the home team with 3 consecutive 3-pointers, cutting the lead to 7. But Pešaković made sure Igokea kept the lead at the end of the first half, 42-34. Rush started the second half with another successful 3-point attempt, but Igokea marched on to a 23-point lead. Sutjeska responded with a last-minute series of 6 unanswered points, giving hope to their fans that they could reverse the outcome in the final period. Midway through the fourth quarter, Brian Rush brought the fans to their feet with a corner 3, followed with another one after a foul. But the American missed an opportunity to become a folk hero in Nikšić, as his 3-pointer that would bring his team to a single-digit deficit fell short, followed by a technical foul called on coach Dušan Dubljević. Miloš Komatina led another scoring run for Igokea that would ensure an easy ride to a 72-83 victory. In a round defined by excellent individual performances, Aleksandar Cvetkovic stood out the most. He was brilliant in Partizan's triumph in Novo Mesto and finished the game with 21 points, adding 7 steals, the same number of assists, and 3 rebounds. That was enough for a value index score of 42, matching the highest score of the season, recorded by Nemanja Vranješ from Sutjeska. We start off our top 5 countdown in Zadar. The home team ran over j.t.d as shown in this fast break by Filip Kraljevic after an assist from Ivan Ramljak. Olympia's players made a habit of scoring amazing three-pointers in Morača, and that is exactly what Zach Wright did. This boy can fly. Ognjen Jaramas goes for a putback dunk out of nowhere in Megalex's victory over Typhoon. Đorđe Majstorović played another great game against Crvena Zvezda. The play of the game was his fantastic block on Terence Kinsey's slam dunk attempt. We started a countdown in Zadar, that's where we will end it. Boris Barac sets a fantastic alley-oop for Ivan Ramljak. Thank you for watching another edition of ABBA Magazine. Next time we will analyze the games from the 22nd round of the season. Stay tuned.